right, what's up everybody? Good to see you. Let's do a quick audio and visual check. Oh, hold on one second, I forgot to do something. Okay, we'll try that again. Welcome everybody. We'll just do a quick audio visual check. In addition to that, let me know in the chat if you can do the rewinding or the DVRs, sort of what they're calling it. Apparently the past couple of streams we've been unable to have the chat rewind. So let's give it a test, and if it's working, give me a thumbs up in the chat and we'll get started here shortly. This is East 30th Street, looking at the Chrysler Building. All right, we'll see if that works. Let's see.
So I've only seen you at non-top now.
Okay, I think if you refresh the browser and then click the rewind button, I think we'll be good to go. Whoa. All right, so good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks in Wall Street. It's a pretty cold night here in New York City. We're reporting live from the corner of East 30th Street and Lexington Avenue. We have a pretty good view of the Chrysler Building, looking all the way uptown. And then we have a little piece of the Empire State Building right here as well. What I want to do, because we didn't really get a complete, I should say, tour of the new Penn 2 project, which is essentially the revitalization of Midtown Manhattan near Penn Station. I would say spanning between West 31st Street and West 34th Street, Madison Square Garden. That's where we're gonna head today. So we'll bang a ride here on East 29th Street. We'll go over to 5th, and then we will head over to Penn Station. With people not being able to rewind. So we'll do the stream again. We will go into Penn Station. We'll check out the two main entrances and just do a little bit of a comparison between the old New Jersey Transit entrance of, how should I call it, Penn Station. But I think overall it looks good. Many of you have seen it. I know we have a lot of new people, so many of you have not. And we'll check out some of the new developments over there, and we'll head over to the Hudson Yards. So, all right, let's see who we have in the chat here. I see D. What's up? Good to see you. Western Mass Dave. Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Crypto Meme is here. John. What's up? Joe C. Tim says the refresh works. Watch the ads and now it works. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if it's YouTube is trying to save on their servers or something like that, but I now have to physically go in on the back end and enable the DVR, so to speak, which is a little strange. But not a big deal. We'll get through it, I guess. Josie, what's up? says I'm from New Jersey. Cool. And I take the New Jersey Transit or the PATH train. Got it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, really the only time I've ever been on the PATH train, a handful of times. One of which was during the pandemic, because, and this is, not to bring up the pandemic, but it was so ridiculous looking back at it, because in New York City, right, the 5 boroughs in New York and Nassau, Suffolk County, it had a completely different set of rules and regulations than they did just right across the river in New Jersey, particularly Hoboken and Jersey City. So when everything was closed down here in New York, no indoor dining, you couldn't congregate inside, you couldn't really even talk to anybody. It was just pretty weird. You could get right on the PATH train, and less than a mile away, you were able to, have indoor dining and hang out. So during the pandemic, that's really the only time I've taken the PATH train, is just to escape New York City and go to Hoboken, New Jersey, so I could sit down and eat inside instead of eating outside in the 20-degree frigid temperatures. Now, I guess in hindsight, it was a little bit silly, right? I mean, if you're trying to prevent yourself from getting sick, why would I go out and eat in 20-degree weather exposed to the elements instead of just being inside where it's heated and normal? Anyway, hey, check the logic. What's up? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this very frigid night in New York City. Yesterday, we were talking about the U.S. manufacturing numbers that came in much better than expected. So, in my view, the economy is doing well. Particularly the manufacturing sector of the U.S. economy is improving materially. We talked about the Institute for Supply Management PMI numbers came in at 49.1%. It was a 2 percentage point increase from December's PMI. So the trend is higher, and that's good news for the U.S. economy. Good stuff. Troy says, I see the outdoor patios in your streams. What a hilarious time for the 2020-2021 for the restaurant dining. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Although, I will say this. I'm not opposed to the outdoor dining sheds. Unless, so long as the establishments keep them, maintained and safe and updated. I kind of enjoy eating outside, particularly during the summer, just not the winter, right? It's not practical in the winter, but I think it makes the city a little bit more European, kind of, right? If you've ever been to some of these major cities in Europe, people are dining outside. There's not cars, whizzing in and out, causing a big ruckus. It's more pedestrian friendly. It gives them more of a laid back community feel, which I actually kind of like better, to be honest. Now, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because we're going to go over to Broadway, and the city actually closed down parts of Broadway to vehicle traffic. So then you're not even allowed to drive cars down there. And particularly on the weekends, right, in the spring and in the summer, also the fall, there's a lot of people out. People out dining. There's sort of patio furniture set up. I kind of like it. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of a hot take. John says, no, get rid of the sheds, but instead extend the sidewalks and dine outside. It's a good point. Well, I mean, speaking of the outdoor dining sheds, here's one of them, right? Here's one of them. Now, look, I don't have an issue. If it's well maintained and it's not dirty and it's safe to eat, might as well keep it, right? And I don't think the restaurants should have to be charged extra to have them, because it's only fair, right? The city made the restaurants pretty much shut down due to the virus. And, I think the next couple of years, as we're getting out of this, pandemic, the more, I would say, patrons you can get in the establishment, the more food you could sell, the more people that you could serve throughout the day, I think is better for the restaurants. So I don't know, kind of like it. Hey, Cynthia Ava, what's up? RPT says 1 year ago today, you rang the opening bell, Tom. So I didn't personally ring it, but I was invited to the, whoa. I wasn't expecting that. I was invited to the closing bell ceremony, which was an amazing experience. An experience I'll remember forever. It was unbelievable. So thank you to Invella, which is a publicly traded company under the ticker symbol ELA. Awesome experience. Yeah, I got to go to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. I have an NYSE name tag with my name on it. Also, I have a New York Stock Exchange coin that they give to all the attendees of the closing bell ceremony. So it's cool. It's an amazing piece of American history, the New York Stock Exchange. But, you know, in addition to that, one of my favorite things about the whole experience is that they actually have the original document of the Buttonwood Agreement inside the facility. So if you ever get a chance to tour the inside of the New York Stock Exchange, I'd say that's probably one of the most important documents that you should see, is that original Buttonwood Agreement, which essentially signified the first New York Stock Exchange, the creation of the first exchange, right? So a great piece of American history. It was unbelievable. Really, really cool. Wow, that was a year ago now. Talk about how time flies. It's kind of crazy. 1 year ago. Wow. Now, obviously, prior to 9/11, right, September 11, 2001, you were allowed freely to go inside the New York Stock Exchange. Now it's all closed down, and there's a lot of barriers there on Broad Street to prevent any vehicle through traffic for obvious reasons, right? It's a major terror target, so the NYPD closes it down. There's a lot of security there. Hopefully one day they'll be able to open it up to the public again, because I think it's a very important piece of American history, right? It signifies free market capitalism, fair and free markets. Look at this building. Now this is the corner of 5th Avenue, East 30th Street. There's a pretty good sushi place in here. Oh, look at this little rat. There he is. Look at him. I think that's the smallest rat we've ever encountered on the stream. Anyway, oh, here he is again. Cool. There we go. Now, this is a good sushi place. It's very unique. All the sushi is on a conveyor belt, so you order it on an electronic iPad, and it brings you all your food on a little conveyor belt. It's really cool. And if you order a drink, right, waters, sodas, you know, alcoholic beverages, it comes to you on a robot. Like literally a robot is rolling around the restaurant bringing you your stuff. So if you want to check out a pretty cool sushi place, it's right here. Kaiten Sushi, I think it's called. Kaiten Sushi in Nomad. It's a pretty cool place. It's a bit expensive, but I think for the experience, it's all right. This is a direct view of the Empire State Building. Awesome shot. Hey, NAV407, what's up? RJ's here from Colorado. I know Lathis, the stock exchange, was crazy back in the 90s and even prior to that. Yeah, I mean, Wall Street has totally changed materially, right? Now, many people think of the New York Stock Exchange today with all of the floor traders and the brokers running around and screaming, and it's tons of energy and excitement. It's not really like that anymore, due to computers, right, and algorithmic trading. You don't really need, right? Now, there's still market making on the floor, right? There's still trading that happens on the floor, but you can't even compare it to the type of volume of manual brokers on the floor, pre-computers, right? Much of this stuff is just done online. Right now, you could be anywhere in the world, trading and investing. That's why, as we parlay this conversation into commercial real estate and office, particularly in Lower Manhattan. Lower Manhattan used to be one of the most occupied places in terms of the financial business, broker dealers, and the like, all up and down Wall Street, Broad Street, and in the surrounding neighborhood and surrounding areas. But you don't really need to be down there anymore, right? Because way back in the day, and even if we go way, way back, people would physically trade with pieces of paper, right? Running back and forth. Now you could quite literally be anywhere in the world. So a lot of the major investment banks, the hedge funds, family offices, and the like on Wall Street have actually moved uptown to Midtown Manhattan, the Times Square neighborhood, right where Morgan Stanley is. We talked about the old Lehman Brothers, where Barclays is. That's just north of Times Square. You also have the French investment bank, BNP Paribas, is up there as well. And then even the Hudson Yards. Like, look at BlackRock. BlackRock used to be on the east side of Manhattan. They moved their corporate headquarters in New York City all the way to New York City's Hudson Yards, which we're going to see right now. So, it's really caused an interesting effect. The internet. You don't need to be there. You could be pretty much anywhere you want. And the last standing investment bank on the physical street of Wall Street just vacated, right? So Deutsche Bank, which is the German bulge bracket investment bank, it trades under the ticker symbol DB. They're no longer on Wall Street anymore. Now, their headquarters used to be 60 Wall Street. And now that building is completely vacant. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do with that building, but I believe it's going to be a very big office to condo conversion, I think. And that's a pretty cool building, but right now it's totally empty. So a lot of residential now in Lower Manhattan, Broad Street, Wall Street, and the vast majority of it are pre-war buildings that have been converted from offices to condos. So it's an interesting point. So we're walking through Koreatown, everybody. I'll just give a quick recommendation here. You see this place? Right here? This is Gray Street. Grace Street. Very, very good Korean bakery. I believe they're known for their burnt cheesecake. So if you're in the city, if you're looking to move to Koreatown, this is one of the hot spots. Very good. Also, this Food Gallery 32 has a ton of good places. There's like 4 or 5 really, really good places in here, but my favorite place is actually on the second floor. So if you take the escalator or the stairs to the second floor, you'll have the Pelicana chicken here. I know Dave is like, it's trash day, I take it. That's the one thing about Koreatown. There's so much trash, so much garbage, because pretty much all of Koreatown is a restaurant, right? So there's physically no place to put it. And you have all these food delivery bikes, you have the Vespas, and you have all these outdoor dining sheds amongst the trash. So that's a work in progress with the city. We have to figure out what we're gonna do with the garbage, but hey, Tug Carter, what's up, Tug Carter? Thanks for joining us. Peters' 5 Churchill Place sold at auction for a £160 million discount. Wow. I did not know that. Very interesting. Now, speaking of Chinese firms, China is not doing particularly well right now. And, it's interesting because one of the biggest arguments, not only on the street, but I would say, even in politics today, is the narrative that China is going to overtake the United States as the single world's superpower, right, as the number one position. And then in addition to that, right, completely on a different topic, a lot of people think that the BRICS treaty, if you will, is going to dethrone the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Now, when we talked about this last time, the chat was a little bit split. I'd say it's split 50-50. Many of us think that, I should say, China is an economic threat to the United States. Many of us think it's not. I'm in the party where I don't think it is, for a multitude of reasons. We spoke about the Chinese commercial paper market, and there's a lot of ways that we can analyze and sort of track the health of the Chinese commercial paper market, which is essentially like companies, issuing debt and at what rates, right? The commercial paper. If you go to Crane Shares, has, I should say, one of the widest tracked ETF for the Chinese commercial paper market. And it's trading at significantly lower levels than even during the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. So if we thought there was liquidity problems in China now, or back then during COVID, I mean, how do you think it is now? China is going through what could potentially be, and I think is right now, one of the worst financial crises since 2008, particularly in the real estate sector. Now, as an exercise, and we've done this before, I really quickly want to show you all the spire of the Empire State Building, but as an exercise, if you're sitting at home on your Bloomberg terminal, TradingView, MarketSmith, really whatever you use to look and analyze charts, go ahead and pull up the Hang Seng Index. The ticker symbol is HSI. So the Hang Seng Index, right, the major equity index in China. And I want you to zoom out on a monthly time frame, okay? And I just want you to have that visual in your head. Then I want you to pull up a separate window, and I want you to look at India, which is the Nifty 50. I want you to go to a monthly time frame on the Indian equity index and kind of have that mental picture in your head. And then I want you to do the same thing with Japan, right? And notice the stark contrast between where Chinese equities are, and then do a comparative analysis of where Japanese equities are and Indian equities. And look at the outperformance. The outperformance is quite blaring. So usually, and we wrote about this in our latest newsletter, the Behind the Street newsletter, that oftentimes we could use equities, right, stocks, as the greatest leading economic indicators in and of themselves. So if you want to read that piece, and we've talked about the bull narrative in India, the bull thesis in Japan, and the continual bear thesis on China, if you want to read that, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen. This is a nice Tesla. I think this is a Tesla Model Y, I believe. I like the color. If you scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email, that will take you to our Substack. So we publish all of our equity research every other Thursday, right as the market is closing. And we just published our last piece last Thursday. So if you want to get that for free, just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and it will take you to our Substack. Hey, Brad's Brain, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome to New York City's Koreatown. Dan H says, hey Tom, since I know you're often in Florida, I'll be traveling at the end of the month to Miami. Where should I visit? Oh, you know what? I actually may be back in Miami, Florida, the last week of February. So I'll let you know if I'm down there. Maybe we'll meet up, we'll grab a cup of coffee or something. But if I had to name the top 2 places where I would explore if you're in Miami, number 1 would be Wynwood, Miami. Now, if you haven't been to Miami in a really long time, I would even say like 5 years plus, you're going to be very, very impressed and blown away by just the sheer amount of construction, new development going up in the Wynwood neighborhood of Miami. It kind of gives those undertones and underpinnings of Soho, New York. Big art culture, lots of creatives, lots and lots of creatives, and it's just a really, really cool place. So number 1, I'd say Wynwood. I would check that out. And if you want to slice in New York while you're there, they just opened a Joe's Pizza right in Wynwood. So Joe's is arguably one of the most famous pizza places in New York City, and they just opened one in Wynwood. So I would check that out. And then I would go to the Brickell section of Miami, which is really considered it's really considered the mini Manhattan of the South. So I'd check those 2 out. Another beautiful shot of the Empire State Building. It's fantastic. Hey, Lee L, what's up? Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here. Good to see you, Lee. What's up? Ace Options Trading says, need to try Joe's Pizza. Joe's is good. Myra King, what's up? Says, good evening, Tom and chat. Yeah, Brad's Brain says, I know we don't talk too much individual stocks, but my irrational love of Palantir certainly paid off today. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that. So Palantir has been on the watch list, but I don't own the stock, mainly because it has too much overhead, and I think there's other leaders in the market that are already up and out. But I'm becoming increasingly more interested in Palantir for the following reasons. So look at the last 4 quarters of EPS on Palantir, and it's just starting to, really, really ramp up here and become a model book stock. So if you look at the characteristics, to Brad's point, of leading stocks just before they make their big move, they tend to have 3 to 4 consecutive quarters of earnings growth, right, or EPS, earnings per share, of 25% plus EPS. And in terms of revenue or sales, they tend to come off 4 to 6 quarters of 25% plus consecutive revenue growth. Now, Palantir is a little bit light on the revenue growth. I think it's high teens for revenue growth, but if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 quarters have been 100% plus EPS growth. So I think they reported earnings, the stock was up about 17%. And should this clear a lot of that overhead supply and break out into new record highs, I think that's something you could definitely get after. So yeah, Brad's Brain says earnings beat again, revenue up. Now, what was their guidance? Because I didn't have enough time to look into, really do a deep dive into the report. But what did they guide? Did they guide well? I don't know, because usually I don't really like to say this, but what's usually more important as we come up to Madison Square Garden, this is going to be cool to explore this again. This is the brand new, Penn 2 project. Usually what's more important in an earnings report is not necessarily how the company reports in the current quarter, it's the outlook, right? because earnings in and of themselves is a lagged indicator, because you're reporting earnings for the last 3 months. Does that make sense? So when you see a company's earnings report, those are earnings that happened 3 months ago. So as an investor, you're not necessarily looking to buy a stock for the money it made in the past 3 months. You want to be in the deal for what the company is going to produce in the future. So I'd be interested to see how the stock guided. Okay, so just to get everybody on the same page here, this is really exciting. This is the brand new Penn Station. You can see the New Jersey Transit, the Amtrak, and the Long Island Railroad. This is the brand new entrance to Madison Square Garden, and this was all put on by Vornado. This is the brand new Penn 2 project. All of the scaffolding is finally down, and I think they did an amazing job. So before we head into the brand new Penn Station, let's actually take a walk around the perimeter of the development, just so you can see everything in more detail. So it starts from West 31st Street and 7th Avenue, and it goes all the way to 34th Street and 7th, right next to the Macy's Herald Square. Okay, Brad says they predict 40% revenue growth. Got it. Travelmista, good to see you. Jules says Ozempic. 70% of the people in the United States qualified for medication. Over 30% of insurance companies cover. Is Ozempic stock a good choice? I don't invest in biotech or really pharma at all, mainly because I'm a little bit ignorant to the space. I don't have a degree in biology. I don't know what drugs are going to perform well. What I can say is this about Ozempic. What is the total addressable market for this drug? Unfortunately, in the United States, it's pretty big, right? And the American way is sort of just taking a pill for everything to mask the problem instead of actually doing something about it to change it. So the TAM, the total addressable market here for Ozempic, is a monster. It's massive, and I think it's going to do really well. Am I going to invest in it? Am I going to buy it or the stock? No, I'm not. Mainly because it's not my area of expertise. I tend to stick to what I know, and I don't know biotech. I don't know pharma. It's not my thing. I mean, maybe many of you are, right? If you have a background in maybe biomedical engineering or something like that, but for me, I not a big pharma guy. I don't understand it. I'm not smart enough to understand it. I'm a tech, telecom, and software guy, and I think there's more than enough money to be made in tech, telecom, and software. So I guess I'll just choose to leave some of the money on the table there. But all right, so this is the last bit of scaffolding they have here, right at the entrance to the New Jersey Transit on West 31st Street and 7th. Hey, Krog Dog, what's up? Thanks for joining us. So you can see the Penn District. This is all a Vornado Realty Trust development. So this is Steve Roth's company. Now, they've temporarily halted the construction on some of the commercial office space here, mainly because vacancy is so high and the interest rate environment is so high. But we'll just do a quick walkthrough all the way down the main LED sign here. And we could see the amazing difference from just a couple of years ago. John says, Tom, sometimes I day trade biotechs depending on the news and float plus the timing if I can get in. Hey, I mean, if you have that expertise and you could do it, I mean, by all means. I just don't. I kind of know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and I'm not smart enough to understand that stuff. particularly a lot of these startup biotech companies. Because a lot of these startups, right, that are sometimes even pre-revenue, they're very dependent on one product. So for example, let's say if they have a drug and it's going through all of the different stages of, you know, FDA approvals, and the clinical trials are going well, but then out of nowhere, it fails a clinical trial. And then the FDA doesn't approve the drug, and the stock goes to zero because that drug was the only revenue source for the entire company. So, hey, Mariana, Texas, what's up? UniJ23, thanks for joining us. Oh, looks like they have college basketball going on. St. John's University versus Creighton, February 25th at noon. You can see some of the progress here. Yeah, Joe Cease, I remember seeing the New Jersey Transit Station in 2023. It's crazy how much it has changed in just a couple months. It is. I mean, and in a few more months, all of this scaffolding is going to come down on this side. You're going to have all new paved and expanded sidewalk here. So I think so far they did a good job. Let's see if we can go all the way in the back. Because I don't think we've ever walked under this brand new underpass or overpass. This is where all of the people, I guess, are coming out of the game. This used to be a very, very narrow sort of tunnel to come from Penn Station into Madison Square Garden. Ceiling heights were elevated in a very, very big way. You can see right into the JP Morgan Chase Bank here. Let's see how far we can go before the internet goes out. And you can see how they're redoing all the ceiling here too. New development. It's pretty good. We'll go out here and then we'll make a left. Hey, hang with Mark Moss. Good evening, Tom, mods, and chat. What's up? We're exploring the new Penn district yet again. Checking in on the progress of the Vornado project. But you know, as I've said before, I think this is really important for the city to have done this. Because Madison Square Garden, Penn Station, is oftentimes one of the first things that tourists see. And we want to have a good impression. So with having new state-of-the-art infrastructure, I think it's really good. Hey, Hawaii, what's up? try to go down and around. I don't want to get stuck in too much of the traffic. Brand new Long Island Railroad entrance here. This is all brand new that we're standing on right now. Look at that. So that is the brand new entrance of the Long Island Railroad. It goes all the way down to the tracks. What do you guys think? I know I've showed you this before, but we do have a lot of new people. What do you think of the brand new Penn 2 project? And as you come up, you see an unobstructed view of the Empire State Building. Pretty cool. Now, this is the state-of-the-art infrastructure I think the city deserves, 100%. I mean, this whole area was very raggedy, dilapidated, and this looks like a futuristic city. So I'm very pleased with it. This is a cool view. Look at this. You can see all the passengers coming down into the ground. So you have the Empire State Building again. And what they did is they quite literally blew a hole in the ceiling and made way for this escalator to go all the way down into Penn Station.
Can I switch?
It's kind of interesting seeing it from this angle, like we're right on top. But if you guys are enjoying the tour of the brand new 2 Penn project, or Penn 2 project, feel free to leave a like on the video. And click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these tours every night starting at 8:30. But for now, let's go down and around, and we'll actually go underground and check it out from the other side. This thing looks so unique. Now you can still see this is all blocked off here. This is going to be all brand new. There's going to be outdoor dining. There's going to be seating. Looks like there's a brand new pickleball place coming. So there's a lot more construction to be done. But it's probably the completion date will be early this summer of 2024. Again, here's the company, Vornado. And as you know, we talked about this. They also did 220 Central Park South. So the most desirable building on Billionaires Row, the best-selling building on Billionaires Row, is also done by the same exact developer, which is great. Yeah, David's is, and also the new bus terminal on 42nd Street announced by the governor. Now, the Port Authority bus terminal is really, really horrible. So I'm very glad that the city's going to be getting a brand new Port Authority. Much, much overdue. All right, let's go down and around. Head down into the underworld in New York City. No, Evan Weeks, we're actually at 34th Street, Penn Station. We're checking out the brand new Penn 2 project, as well as the brand new entrance to New York City's Long Island Railroad. 123 A, C, and E trains. And we're gonna head down underground right now. Now, for all of those Long Islanders or anybody who's ever been to the LIRR terminal here, this looks totally different than it did before. I mean, the ceiling heights are so much bigger, so much larger.
Welcome to Long Island Railroad Penn Station. Please be careful while crossing.
There's going to be all retail shops, restaurants, all types of stuff down here. So you have a Dos Toros, you have a Shake Shack, and you have a pretty cool ceiling too with all these tiles. Much needed renovation. I would say much, much needed renovation for New York City's Penn Station. We can't stay down here too long though, because the internet is going to start to go crazy, but now this is kind of cool because as you go up, you can see a direct view of the Empire State Building. Right through the glass sort of awning here. All right, let's head to Hudson Yards. We'll try to maneuver through all this traffic.
That's my digital music. Where you guys are from?
Maybe we'll try to go this way. Trying to figure out what is the least trafficked area as the game is getting out. Yeah, Joel PM's. This kind of looks like an airport terminal. It does. Speaking of the airport terminals, has anybody been to LaGuardia Airport recently? They just did a major renovation of LaGuardia. However, I'll never get a chance to take advantage of that because I never fly out of LaGuardia. I only fly out of JFK because it's so easy to get there. The public transportation is horrible to get to LaGuardia. You gotta take the bus, it's a pain, but it's super easy to get to JFK. You take the Long Island Railroad to Jamaica, you transfer Jamaica Station to the air train, and then it takes you right to your terminal. So it's super easy. If only LaGuardia had an air train type system. Jeff W277 says you flew in there in March. NMB 45 says, yeah, I was impressed with LaGuardia. Now, how do you get to the city, though? Are you guys just taking the taxi or are you taking an Uber? Because it's expensive, Ubers to the city. You know, it's about 60, 65 bucks. You know, if you take it during rush hour, really late at night, you could be talking about like 115, 120 bucks just for the Uber. Anyway, hey, I see Melanie says, Tom, I was in LaGuardia in October. It was very nice. Haven't been through there in 25 years. Wow. Well, at least the city's moving in the right direction, I guess. Melanie says, I much prefer coming in from Newark, New Jersey, really, and ending up right where you are. Huh, okay. Interesting. Let's cross and go up and around. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, as we head through the New York Knicks supporters crowd, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do these streams every night starting at 8:30. NMB 45 says, Uber, I didn't find it very expensive getting from Manhattan to LaGuardia. Wow, okay. Hey, Patsy says, I'm flying into LaGuardia this Friday. Well, welcome to New York City. We're happy to have you here. Be sure to check back in the chat and give us a review what you think of the airport. What's up? Good to see you. This is always one of my favorite, all-time favorite shots in New York City. Especially when like a New York Knicks game is getting out or something, because the traffic is crazy. And this is like a very iconic New York shot, right? You have the subway here, 34th Street. You have Macy's, you have all the taxi cabs, the buses, the bikes. It's a really cool shot here. Hey, Patsy says, will do. I haven't been to the airport since 2001. Holy crap. So it seems as if we have a lot of viewers who are going to be in New York City for the first time in a long time. Let's make a right here, though. And then we'll walk up Broadway. Or maybe we'll go up one more, let's see. Yeah, but if you haven't been to the city since 2001, I think the city's gonna look totally, it's just gonna look like a new city. I mean, think about all the different things that have gone up over the years, right? You have the Hudson Yards, you have the brand new Freedom Tower, One Vanderbilt, and pretty much all of Billionaires Row. None of that even existed since the last time you were in New York City. So you're gonna be able to see Central Park Tower, 157. It's gonna be quite the shock, I think. So we're now making the transition from the Penn district up to Times Square. Yeah, Troy says, I just looked at a map and you're right, LaGuardia is definitely a transit dead zone. There's buses, but I'm not a big fan of the bus, to be honest. Yeah, Western Mass Dave, you're right. Also the Hudson Yards, for sure. Wow, Chris B, you haven't been in New York since 1995. It's the year I was born. Crazy. Sabrina Fair, what's up? Oh, Connor's just hoping to get back to the city next month if my team gets into March Madness. Very cool. That's right, that's coming up now. All the college basketball playoffs. Now, when I landed from Miami into New York City last weekend, the trains were so packed, crowded at Jamaica. I guess it was the sort of like a St. John's Day in Manhattan, where they were playing at Madison Square Garden or something, but it was packed. Fo says, hey Tom, you never stop for food. When do you eat? I eat, you know, throughout the day. Stream's only about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But there is one thing I wanted just to briefly touch on and talk about, and that is the interest rate environment. So we've been talking a lot about particularly all these new buildings that are going in Manhattan, right? Commercial real estate, that requires a lot of debt. And I'm in the real estate business in New York City, and a lot of the meetings that I was attending today with developers and sponsors and things like that, they're starting to see quotes on debt come down significantly, right? And it's forecasted that by the middle of the summer, you know, if you're looking at a 30-year fixed rate mortgage product, it's quite possible that you could be getting quotes at 6% even, right, on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage as soon as the middle of the summer. Now, I've been a part of deals where select individuals are already getting quoted about 6.25% on a 30-year fixed. And the main reason for that, oh, look at this. It's a Frank Sinatra Range Rover. That's so crazy. Look at that. Is that not the coolest vehicle you've ever seen? Let's see what's on the other side. Oh, cool. You have Mike Tyson, you have Leo Messi, and Kobe Bryant. Super cool. My favorite's probably Messi and Tyson right there. You never know what you're going to see in the city. Crazy. Yeah, Tony Soprano too. Brad, you're right. Now, what I was saying is, you know, a lot of times banks will offer different promotions to buy down some of the points if you move a certain amount of funds over to the institution, right? So if you move $1 million, let's say over to Wells Fargo, you know, they'll give you, let's say 75 basis point discount on your mortgage. So And that's more, I would say, more relevant in real estate markets such as Manhattan, maybe LA, because they have higher ticket prices on the sales. So those jumbo mortgages, right? Chances are, if you're in the market for a $5 to $8 million apartment, you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal for you to move $1 million over to UBS or Wells Fargo or name your bank, and then get some of those discount points off the mortgage. So pretty interesting, very interesting. All right, everybody, this is West 39th Street and Broadway. We're about to be right inside the belly of the beast here, which is Times Square. You're looking at the H&M building. Hey Sal, what's up? So here's another example of the city closing down the streets to car traffic and making wider and safer bike lanes as well as pedestrian lanes. So you can't even drive your car down Broadway anymore. This is all pedestrian friendly, all cyclist friendly. They have tables here if you want to eat. During the day they have chairs. They usually lock them up at nighttime, but I think the city looks a little bit better when it's more walkable. So we're coming up on 5 Times Square. I believe that was the old corporate headquarters of EY, the major consulting company. And what we've been seeing a lot is in the city, particularly in Times Square, a lot of businesses have been moving out and breaking their leases and moving to the Hudson Yards. Because nobody really wants to commute to work in Times Square, right? I think you'll kind of understand why in a moment when we start to walk there. But, you know, the Hudson Yards, as well as new buildings like 1 Vanderbilt, 425 Park Avenue, you know, they've just been crushing the competition with some of these older office buildings, and the city's become very, very bifurcated. Now, this is Joe's Pizza. This is one of the most famous pizza shops in New York City. Look how long the line is. This is a Tuesday night. It's probably coming up on 10 o'clock at night, and you have the line for Joe's pretty much going all the way down the block to the corner of 40th Street. Crazy, right? Now, a little bit of Miami news, if anybody's from Miami, Florida. Joe's just opened a pizza spot right in Wynwood, which the last time I was in Miami, I actually tried it out. It's very good. I would say it's the best pizza spot I've been to in the state of Florida. It was the new Joe's Pizza in Wynwood, Miami. John Sunderland says, Tom, I was at EY in LA. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, KPMG, I mean, that's another example of a major company. They moved out of the east side, and they're in the Hudson Yards now too. I mean, we could just keep listing the names of companies that are moving out of some of the older office buildings and crowding into Hudson Yards. Right, the more desirable Class A commercial real estate that is very desirable. I think the biggest name is BlackRock, right? BlackRock moved their New York City headquarters from the east side of Manhattan, right off of Park Avenue, and they are now in the Hudson Yards too. right, here we are, 42nd Street, Times Square. MG4015 says, hey Tom, your stream reminds me and my aunt of why we love New York so much. We can't wait to go back. Would love to hear some of your recommendations for Koreatown. Okay, well, I got probably some of the best recommendations for Koreatown of anybody in the city. So if you have a pen and paper ready, I'm gonna name a few restaurants that are gonna rip your face off. Amazing restaurants in Koreatown. Number one, the restaurant is called Take 31. So T-A-K-E 31. It's right off of 31st Street and 5th Avenue. So it's in between 5th and Madison. You gotta make a reservation because it's such a popular restaurant, particularly on the weekends. You could barely get a seat. So I would first go to Take 31, okay? And then number two, I would go to a restaurant that's literally right next door that's owned by the same owner, and it's called Her Name is Han. So Her Name is Han and then Take 31 would be by far the top two restaurants to go to in Koreatown. Amazing. Now, if you send me an email, I will I'll send you a complete list and a breakdown of everything I recommend in Koreatown. Oh, Melissa 2087 says, Tom, I tried Take 31 in December and it was really good. I'm glad you liked it. That's my favorite restaurant in Koreatown. Great spot. Okay, so we're coming up on Salesforce Tower. Now, Salesforce is a company that was founded by Mark Benioff. And Salesforce is really the pioneer of SaaS, so software as a service. So software distributed in the cloud, right? Which has been a complete game changer for the tech industry and has led to very predictable revenue streams for companies. And that's why oftentimes these SaaS companies will trade at very premium valuations, because Wall Street likes the predictability in these companies' cash flows, right? So if they onboard X amount of customers and they have a very, very low churn rate, well, they're gonna be continuously ringing the register every single month on their subscription services for their software, which is great. Right, and that is the spire of the Empire State Building. Now, if you guys are enjoying the walks and talks that we have each and every night, starting at 8:30 p.m., feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams almost every single night starting at 8:30. And also, if you want to receive all of our free equity research and financial research every other Thursday after the market closes, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen and punch in your email and you'll be signed up to our Substack. Now also, at the very, very end of the newsletter, each Thursday, we include an exclusive property tour of one of our listings in Manhattan and all over New York City. So last week, we highlighted our exclusive penthouse overlooking the High Line. It's a $5,250,000 property. It's an amazing penthouse just under 2,000 square feet of interior space, over 1,000 square feet of exterior space, overlooking all of Midtown Manhattan, Empire State Building, all the way up to Billionaires Row. So if you want to see that, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen. Once again, punch in your email, and every other Thursday, right at the closing bell, you will receive all of our equity research for free and a market update on the New York City residential and commercial real estate market. Joel PM's Salesforce, or you use Salesforce at your current and previous job? Yeah, I mean, in my previous job, I used Salesforce, but then when I worked at a startup, we used a different CRM called Zoho, so Z-O-H-O, which is kind of the same thing as Salesforce, but kind of a dumbed down, less expensive version, I'd say. Jeff says we use Salesforce at our hospital. It's a great product. Hey, Addison says we have a Salesforce tower here in Indianapolis. Love it. Now, the sad thing is this tower is pretty much all empty. I mean, a lot of Salesforce employees work remote. I heard that Benioff is trying to get a lot of people back to the office, but we'll see if that works. And right across the street from Salesforce Tower is Bank of America Tower. So Brian Moynihan's company, you can get the B, D, F, and M trains right here. This is a pretty cool view looking inside Times Square. Oh wow, cool. John Sunderland says my college roommate is now a bigwig at Zendesk. I'm very familiar with that company. I think they're publicly traded too. Zendesk, right? Does anybody know the ticker symbol? I think it's ZEN. I think. I'm not sure. You know, another big customer relationship management company is HubSpot. Anybody use HubSpot? That's publicly traded under the ticker HUBS. HubSpot. And I think 2 years ago, HubSpot acquired a company called The Hustle. Not sure if anybody's familiar, but The Hustle was like a huge email newsletter that was sent out to mostly founders and entrepreneurs and things like that. I think they acquired that company for $20 million, $22 million. That's a pretty cool shot of One Vanderbilt. Swearworks. Tom, HubSpot got The Hustle associated with $1 Million Podcast. A good one for entrepreneurs to listen to. Yeah, I listen to it quite regularly. That's with Sean Puru, right? and Sam Parr. I like those guys. Very big personalities on both of them. So this is the CNBC and NASDAQ studios. You can see some of the tickers. You see Datadog, ticker symbol DDOG. Now, Datadog, their headquarters, I believe, is in the, what's it called? The New York Times building. Ticker symbol DDOG. I think they have earnings coming up, or maybe they just reported, but I interviewed a while ago at that company for an enterprise account executive position. I didn't get the job, but that is a very, very good company to work for. I'd say if you're interested in a career in tech sales, I would say if you can go and get a job at a pure play cybersecurity company in enterprise sales, right? Work your way up from account executive to enterprise account executive. That's going to be a very lucrative career for you, in my opinion. So if you think about a company like Palo Alto Networks, ticker symbol PANW, Zscaler is another great company, and CrowdStrike, as well as Datadog too, right? If you can get a job in enterprise sales, you're going to do very, very good. Very, very good. Plus, they have employee stock purchase programs. So a lot of times these companies will allow you to buy the company's stock at like a 30% discount, right? 20% discount. And even some of them, I mean, it depends on the plan, lets you buy the stock at a 50% discount. So, and as the company does better, you make that much more money in the equity, which is great. Brian M says we used to use their product, but they were too expensive. Are you talking about Datadog? SwearWorks' $1 million. I think it's called My First Million is the podcast, right? Hang with Mark Moms. They usually offer it once a year with the cap. Yeah, that's what they did with me at my 2 companies ago. But look, I think it's still worth it. You know, particularly if you work at a very good company that is crushing it. You know, if you've ever heard of any of these stories of all these tech workers that work at like Facebook or Google, Apple, you know, the vast majority of their compensation oftentimes is in the company's stock. So let's say, you know, if a software engineer has a $110,000 salary at Facebook, or even more, like $180,000 salary, but they got an equity package when they signed on of like $80,000 worth of stock. You know, if they've worked there 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that $80,000 worth of stock is now, you know, could very well be like $500,000 worth of stock, right? $600,000, $1 million worth of stock. So, you know, when you're thinking about your career path and you want to work in corporate America at a company, you know, you want to look for a company that is growing. That's producing very, very good earnings. All right, I gotta plug you guys in. Battery's gonna die here in a moment, so just bear with us. Okay, so Carl Ross, Tom, I like what.
They've been around long enough and then
Oh, you buy 1,000 shares and they double it. Wow, it's really good. It's really good. Hey, NYC Homes, Tom, I'm going to college soon and have a brokerage account in the market. I have some investments, however, I am wondering if you have any insights as to how to decide what to invest in. I would just say companies that are churning out earnings, right? What matters is the earnings. The stock isn't going to go up if the company's not earning money. And I think a lot of, beginner investors, they look at all of this nonsense like penny stocks. We'll wait till the FDNY goes by. Anyway, they'll look to a lot of this stuff like, I'm going to go trade penny stocks as like a get-rich-quick scheme. But I think you're much better off with just investing in companies that are continuously producing actual profits. Like, penny stocks are penny stocks for a reason, because the companies are horrible, right? They don't have any earnings, they don't have any sales. You want to look for companies that are growing their revenues, growing their earnings, they have great return on equity, good pre-tax and after-tax margins, and you want to buy those companies and you want to hold them, right? You just want to hold on to them. There was a really good keynote speech that I think you should watch, particularly at your age. I mean, at your age, you're just going into college. If you're already thinking about this stuff, I mean, you're going to make a fortune. You're going to be worth millions. I wish when I was a freshman in college, I was thinking about this stuff. Now, one of the greatest mutual fund managers of all time, his name is Ron Barron. He's actually a native New Yorker. So he runs the Barron funds, and they're incredibly, incredibly successful. And the theme for the 2023 annual shareholder meeting or event at the Barron funds was about holding good companies for duration. So identifying companies in a expanding TAM, right, total addressable market, that is compounding out its earnings power and sales, and buying those companies and holding them. I think I included the link to one of those, or the keynote speech. If you scan the QR code on your screen and you punch in your email, it's going to drop the link to our Substack. And I believe it was 2 newsletters ago, so about, I think, the second to last newsletter of 2023, or 2023 that I sent out, I included the link to the Ron Barron keynote speech at his investor day. And I think any investor, it doesn't matter how old you are, I think it's a prerequisite to watch that, because essentially in a 40-minute presentation, he outlines a systematic framework for investing. So if you want to check that out, just scan the QR code on your screen or type !news, NEWS, in the chat. And the Nightbot will drop the link to our newsletter. We always send out, helpful links, information, and things like that. Hey, Carol H, what's up? It was about time LaGuardia went under renovation. Yeah, apparently there was a multi-billion-dollar renovation in LaGuardia, and it looks great. I mean, a lot of the viewers here, the chatters, were talking about how they've been through the terminal many times. I just don't fly out of LaGuardia because it's just so far away from the city for me. So hey, Lori, what's up? This is buy some Berkshire Hathaway, invest and forget it. I have some shares I took in kind from an IRA distribution about 7 years ago, and it's doubled in value. Yeah, there you go. It's all about duration. Duration. And you also have to think about the tax implications too. You also have to think about the tax implications because, if you keep, treating the stock market like a casino and you're buying and selling every day, the only thing you're doing is you're just running up a huge tax bill, right? Every time you buy and sell is a taxable event. So what you want to do is you want to move as much money as possible, right? This isn't an advice, talk to your advisor, but you want to have as much money as possible in a tax protected account, like an IRA, 401k, something like that. And you want to either buy the market, right, like the S&P 500, or if you want to manage your own portfolio, if you're talented enough to do that, right, you want to hold for long duration to have your wealth grow tax-free or tax-deferred, right? Because taxes, if you can just continue to pay taxes at the end of the year, you're never going to compound out your money, right? And compounding is one of the greatest wonders of the world. So you want to have the patience and the mental fortitude to sit, right? Particularly when you're young. I mean, if you're a freshman in college and you could find a way to put away $10,000, $20,000 a year, invest it, just do the simple math. If you just Google compound interest calculator and you do the numbers, what's $20,000 compounded out at 8% over 30 years or 40 years, right? Even 50 years. That's a crazy amount of money, right? And that's the beautiful thing about America. It's the amazing thing about the United States is because we have such an advantage over other countries because we have free markets, we have capitalism, and we have individual rights, right? Individual property rights, ownership rights. In other countries, if you buy real estate, it's actually not your real estate. It belongs to, the royal families. It belongs to, the queen, right? Wherever you are in the world. The United States of America is such a unique place. It's an amazing place where essentially our mantra to the rest of the world is if you come here, if you work hard and you invest, you're going to do really well. You're going to do really, really well for yourself. And that's why everybody wants to come here, right? I mean, think about that for a moment. The talent, we have unlimited talent that still wants to come to the United States and build products and services, work for our great companies. You guys have to check out this what was that? Oh, I thought these were chickens. It says, please do not feed the pigeons. If you can't tell, I get distracted easily. But you got to look at the statistics. Go ahead and Google the amount of people that are applying for the H-1B visa right now. Last year in 2023, the amount of people that are in line waiting to get an H-1B visa hit a brand new all-time record high. Okay? So there's never been more talented individuals that want to come to the United States to work, to be entrepreneurs, to build businesses than any point in time in history, right? Doesn't matter what Fox News or CNN says about, the country is in shambles. It's just not true. I mean, there's a record amount of talented people with advanced degrees waiting to get into America. So we have the talent, and that talent is going to drive innovation. Innovation drives economic growth, and economic growth drives higher equity returns. Simple formula. So you could either be a participant in that, you could participate in our system and receive the rewards of free market capitalism and all the United States have to offer, or you could just let the opportunities pass you by. But it's your choice. But if you're here in America, you already have the golden ticket. You have it. The only thing you got to do now is just simply participate and you're good to go. So there you have it. Hey, Dan Sang, what's up? This is Tom. How was your day? I was here just an hour ago. Oh yeah, that's right. Your new office is here, isn't it? Right around the corner. We're actually not too far away then. Not bad. Yeah, my day was good. No complaints. Good day. Sun was out. You know, deals are making their way down the pipeline, so it was a good day overall. Okay, we are coming up on the Ed Sullivan Theater. Tariq Khan, I saw that. So what Tariq is talking about is the CEO of McDonald's came out and said that almost no people in the United States making under $42,000 are shopping at Walmart or shopping at McDonald's anymore. Isn't that crazy? And I was looking at this CNBC article, and apparently, I'd never go to McDonald's, but apparently now a Big Mac with fries is $18. Is that possible? I'm not sure if that's possible. Could we get a fact check on that? I mean, I guess it's true. I mean, it came from the CEO. But apparently now, right? I mean, when I think about McDonald's, everybody, I think about, you know, you go get a $10 meal, you know, $5-6. But apparently, if you go get a Big Mac and fries and a drink, that's going to be $18. I mean, you might as well go to Shake Shack. I don't know. Hey, David, what's up? This is I came to the United States from Zambia on an F1 student visa in 1999. Seems like a lifetime ago now. Well, David, we appreciate you choosing the United States as your number one choice. Welcome to the big dance. We're happy to have you. Joel PM says, what percentage of effort? Let me read that. What percentage of effort do most people put in? My opinion, 60%, but that may be optimistic. Maybe. Hang with Mark Mom says, Tom, it's $18 for a Big Mac in McDonald's in Niagara Falls, outside Canada. Whew. You might as well go to Five Guys, right? You might as well go to the grocery store and buy a New York strip steak, right? Tim says that's not true. In Orlando, it's $10. It sounded off, but it sounded weird. Lee says McDonald's needs to go back to cooking their fries in beef tallow. I don't know. Well, it's $8.89 for a Big Mac meal here in... Interesting. So yeah, I don't know where they're getting that statistic from. I mean, it came from the McDonald's CEO. So I don't know. But that sounds more reasonable, right? $8. I mean, it's a QSR restaurant. It's not like you're going out to eat at a sit-down restaurant, right? This is quick service food. Ooh, look at this. So they're already starting the demolition. Now this building used to be here, we'll go over here and look. This used to be Bad Boy Entertainment. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Sean Combs or P. Diddy. This used to be his record label right here. This used to be the awning. 710 Broadway, Bad Boy Entertainment. Now this building is set for demolition. And I believe Extel bought the building, and they're going to demolish it and potentially build another mega tall tower. I think it was Extel that bought this property, but Yeah, right here used to be the main entrance to Bad Boy Worldwide, Bad Boy Entertainment. We'll have to keep tabs on this, everybody. So this is West 55th Street and Broadway. Maybe we'll come up here more often as it's getting demolished, just so we can kind of do a check on the new developments in the neighborhood. Yeah, Video Watchers is Bad Boy Entertainment. Haven't thought of them in a few years, for sure. Yeah, it's adjacent from the Ed Sullivan Theater. I mean, this is prime location, but it's slowed down materially over the years. There needs to be something that revitalizes this sort of strip here. Columbus Circle, 59th Street. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new, because we do these live streams every night starting at 8:30. So for those of you who are just joining, we did a brief walkthrough of the one and only brand new Penn 2 project that was put on by Vornado. Now that's more of a public project, more commercial space. Now we're going to check out a Vornado project that is the polar opposite. So think about a total 180. This is ultra luxury condominiums, the best-selling building on Billionaires Row, 220 Central Park South. And it's this building right here, the one with the gold top. Now, the CEO of Citadel Securities, Ken Griffin, I believe he purchased 3 entire floors in that building. And that was the newest constructed building on New York City's Billionaires Row, as well as the Steinway Tower. Hey, Todd. What's up, Todd? So these streams are my favorite background viewing at home. Thank you. Todd, I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. And I'm glad you're enjoying these sights and sounds of the city. It's my pleasure. Now, all the way at the end here, you see the Trump International Hotel and Tower. And here, if we turn the camera all the way up, this monstrosity of a building is Central Park Tower. It was on the market for $149 million. I think it closed at $110 million. I was looking at it today. So we thought $149 million, but they got a little bit of a discount. So they only paid $110 million for the duplex that sits atop of Central Park Tower. Still a pretty cool deal, but Peter says, how do you demolish these buildings when they're so close together, avoiding the collateral damage? Some of them they take apart in pieces, actually, from the inside. So they'll essentially deconstruct the biggest steel I-beams and they'll take them down individual, which is a more lengthy process, but obviously a much safer process, because you can have, you know, major issues, right? Think about what just happened in downtown Miami, or I should say in Brickell. They were trying to demolish that building and they're going to build the brand new One Brickell City Center. As they were demolishing it, the whole building toppled over and crushed the scaffolding on the sidewalk. I mean, thank God nobody was walking under that at the time. They would have been killed, but it's tough. It's definitely tough. So if everything is not done up to code and regulation, it can be very, very dangerous. All right, everybody, here it is. So this is 220 Central Park South. Hey Brian, this is Tom. We ever traveled down by Madison Square Garden? Yeah, we just did a complete full walking tour of the brand new Penn Station in Madison Square Garden today. That's where we're actually coming from. So if you rewind the stream about an hour, yeah, we spent about an hour touring the brand new Penn project, or I should say the Penn 2 project. And we were walking around right as the New York Knicks game was getting out. It's a great project. We went all the way underground too. So we explored the Long Island Railroad Terminal, everything. Now on tomorrow's live stream, we're going to be walking around Tribeca, which we haven't been there in a long time, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And maybe we'll even get a chance to tour one of our listings in Tribeca at 5 Franklin Place. So if you guys enjoyed the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Click the subscribe button if you're new. And if you'd like to receive our free newsletter, where we talk about all things the financial markets and New York City, please scan the QR code on your screen and you will be signed up to our Substack. So I send it out to all of our Walks in Wall Street subscribers Thursdays after the market closes, and we'd love to have you a part of that. It's the Behind the Street newsletter, so go ahead and scan the QR code, sign up for free. Andrew Nelson says, Tom, any thoughts and opinions on AMD, which releases earnings statements soon? Yeah, I do. I do have some thoughts on AMD. So I wrote a little bit of a segment talking about the most recent interview with the CEO of AMD and how she claims that artificial intelligence is going to be a $400 billion total addressable market by as soon as next year. And I included the video clip, the CNBC interview, in the newsletter. Go ahead and check that out. But I will say this. If AI is going to be real, as they say it's going to be real, what we want to see is corroborating evidence in the price and the performance of semiconductor stocks, particularly those semiconductor companies that will provide the chips for cloud computing, AI, machine learning, and the like. And those two companies are NVIDIA and AMD. And those two stocks are ripping, breaking out in new high territory. So go check out the newsletter. If you scan the QR code, it will drop that link. And we talked about AI, we talked about NVIDIA, AMD in depth. But thank you so much for your donation. So guys, I gotta go. Andrew, I appreciate it. Abdullah, Hang with Mark Mom, Mohammed, thank you so much for joining. Laytha, appreciate you. NYC Home, Lance, Sally, Brian, T-Cal, Troy, Davenport, Parker BG, thanks so much. Appreciate it. and fun feeds. Guys, Esmeralda, we'll see you tomorrow. Live from New York City. We'll regroup then. Cynthia Ava, Unij 23, Myra King. Guys, Western Mass Dave, take care. God bless. Be well. See you tomorrow.